are we getting to a moment where Hamas is basically going to walk away from this?
Well, it's a very good question, and it's a red line that the President of the United States is going to have to draw, and I'm confident that he will. But the President and his team worked very hard on this 20-point comprehensive, detailed plan that has been applauded all over the world. We hope and we expect Hamas should accept this plan so we can move forward with a more peaceful and prosperous Middle East.
So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt with Dana and me just yesterday, keeping the pressure on Hamas to try and accept this peace proposal on behalf of the president. 20 points in that plan. Trump posting on Truth Social moments ago, right? He's now set a deadline for Hamas to give him an answer. Here we go. Release the hostages, all of them, including the bodies of those that are dead now. An agreement must be reached with Hamas by Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. Every country has signed on. If this last chance agreement is not reached, all hell, like no one has ever seen before, will break out against Hamas. There will be peace in the Middle East, one way or the other, end quote there. A deal could create more unforgettable moments like this one. That's Keith Siegel with his family, a freed hostage at that moment. That was back in early February after nearly 500 days in captivity, and Keith Siegel is back with us in studio. Nice to see you again. We first met 5 months ago.
Yes, thank you so much
And
for
you're
having
looking
me.
well.
Yeah, you look
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
I don't know if they take the deal or not, but I know what your first priority is. You want all the hostages home,
Yes,
period.
exactly. I have 4 friends of mine that I met in captivity, Matan, Omri, Gali, and Ziv, and I never imagined I would be released and they would stay behind. Those and all of the 48 hostages that are still there in captivity. I am eternally grateful to President Trump for saving my life and bringing me home to my family. And I'm also so grateful to him for his proposal that can bring an end to this horrific time and bring all of the hostages home and bring an end to the war. It's up to Hamas. The ball is in their court. They can end it. They started it, and they can end it.
And they could have done that a long time ago. Prime Minister Netanyahu said this about what happens if Hamas does not accept this plan. Watch here.
If Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres.
How do you respond to that?
I commend Prime Minister Netanyahu for supporting President Trump's proposal. The majority of Israeli citizens support an agreement that will bring an end to the war and bring all of the hostages back. So I'm here to show my support. I'm here to speak on behalf of my friends that are still in captivity and all of the 48 hostages there. I endured horrific 484 days in captivity. I'm lucky to be here alive. I'm advocating for the release of all the hostages. And just to try to describe the suffering and the life-threatening situation that they are in for so long as we approach 2 years. I was threatened, they threatened to kill me. I saw a woman being tortured, literally. I knew about the 6 hostages that were murdered in a tunnel by Hamas terrorists. Experienced horrific experience. I know what they're going through, and maybe even they're going through worse, and they are because they've been there for so long. I say I was only 484 days in captivity because my friends and all of the 48 hostages that are still there have been there so much longer. I was released 8 months ago, and I cannot imagine what they are going through. And we could lose them. We could lose these people. We must save their lives. We must bring the deceased back for a proper burial.
So Hamas is under a lot of pressure, as you know, and we don't know what decision they make. And I imagine you have a feeling of helplessness because it's not your call. It's the terror group that's been ruling Gaza for 19 years.
Yes. It's the terror group that murdered 62 of my friends and neighbors on October the 7th. It's the terrorist group that kidnapped 19 of us from my community. It's the terrorist group that murdered babies and kidnapped dead people, elderly women and men, and crimes, sexual crimes that they committed on October the 7th. This organization has to be dealt with, but we must get all of the hostages out of danger immediately, bring an end to the war, and also by taking care of Hamas and making sure that they don't pose a threat to Israel or to anybody in the world.
You've obviously done a lot of healing, but there's still trauma that you deal with. And just to show people that there is silver linings in some things, and there is hope and there is joy, would you share the happiness that you were able to experience a couple of months ago?
Sure. Yes, in the beginning of August, my daughter Shir and her now husband Yuval got married. They had waited for me to be released. They were engaged to get married in May of 24, and they waited till I returned to be able to celebrate together with them. It was an amazing, joyful occasion. Together with that, we were all still, and to this day, thinking about the hostages that are still there. And a lot was said about the hostages at the wedding, reminding people that they're still there. And I have been advocating since my release. This is my first trip to this is my 5th trip to the US since I was released, and just trying to do whatever I can do to help get people engaged. And met with President Trump, and I know he has set this as the highest of priority to get the hostages back, and I'm grateful to him for doing that. And I know he will continue his commitment and his engagement to get everybody home. I just want to add that the Qatar and Egypt and Turkey and the Arab nations all support this proposal of President Trump's.
Yep.
So there's a consensus. And
There could be peace.
there could be peace. It's up to Hamas.
Yeah. Tuesday's a significant day also. I know October 7th, they're coming up on 2 years. So my best to you,
Thank you.
your family, and the prayers you have for those who are not yet free.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Keith, for coming back.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.